So I was going to do a video talking about the season awards for the regular season because it was looking more and more like the season was going to get canceled. But recently there has been some optimism around the league about the season resuming. So that is good news, and we'll just have to wait and see what eventually happens. I was thinking the other day about what the league will look like in a few years, and I started to think about players that will be at the top of the league, and that's what inspired this video. Today we are going to talk about 5 players who I think will be MVPs in the coming years. This was not an easy list to come up with, and there are a lot of players that you could make a case for, but in this video we're only going to be talking about the 5 that I have thought of. Now before we start, let's just get this one thing out of the way. Giannis is a young player who will win MVPs in the future, but I'm not putting him on this list because he's already the MVP. He won it last season, and he was the clear favorite to win it all this season. So Giannis is an exception for this list because he's young, he will win MVPs in the future, but he already has one MVP. I just wanted to get that out of the way before anyone asks why he's not on the list. So I just wanted to avoid any kind of confusion. Anyways, let's not waste any more time. My name is Naz, and let's get right into it. Even after Zion Williamson came back from injury and had some dominant nights, Ja Morant was still seen as the clear favorite for Rookie of the Year. And if there's one thing we can take away from this season, it's that his ceiling is high. This season he averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists while shooting nearly 50% from the field. For a 20-year-old to average that while being the face of a franchise basically, it's pretty damn impressive. If there's one weakness he has that's not really as bad, it's his 3-point shooting. He's shooting 35% while only taking 1.5 attempts. Having a consistent long-range shot could make him a huge threat, but maybe he doesn't need it since his biggest strength is his ability to get to the basket, and when you watch him, he does it at ease. His footwork is quick and he has a lot of bounce. The Grizzlies as a team are also looking incredibly promising. With young guys like Jaren Jackson and Justice Winslow, the Grizzlies were actually in the fight for a playoff spot this season. So imagine what this team could be in a few years when these young guys are already more developed. If Ja can continue to grow from where he's at now, there's no doubt he'll be an all-star talent and even a potential MVP. Ja Morant is one of the most exciting young guys in the league, and it'll be fun to watch him grow in the coming years. Zion being on this list shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. He had all the hype coming into the league, and when he came in, his debut was nothing short of exciting. That fourth quarter against the Spurs in January was the most exciting 12 minutes of this season. And not only that, he was regularly putting up solid numbers after he returned from the injury, and he was even catching up to Ja Morant in the Rookie of the Year race. He averaged 23 points and 7 rebounds while shooting 59% from the field, which is solid considering he had just came back from a meniscus injury not too long ago. Not only is he an incredible talent with incredible potential, the team around him is also incredibly promising. The Pelicans are surrounded by incredible young talent. Lonzo Ball has shown incredible improvement from the past 2 seasons, and he has shown that he has all-star potential. And you also have Brandon Ingram, who had a career year and was a first-time all-star. And honestly, you could put him on this list too. There are also some great role players who can make a huge impact for this team. With guys like Josh Hart, Jackson Hayes, Drew Holiday, and JJ Redick, you can't go wrong with the squad. Just imagine this team in a few years. You could potentially have 3 all-stars, a bunch of solid role players, and unlimited potential. In my opinion, Zion Williamson winning MVP is bound to happen. The question for me is, when will it happen? As impressive as his rookie year was, his second season has been amazing. This season he averaged nearly 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists while shooting 43% from the field and 36% from 3. Watching Trey Young this season has been incredible. In his last game before the suspension, he put up 42 and 11. So just imagine what other great performances we could have seen from him if the season had continued as normal. Trey on the offensive end is one of the best in the league. His off-the-dribble threes are unguardable, and his ability to get to the rim is impressive for someone his size. Not only that, his playmaking is something worth talking about. I mean, his court vision is something else. He can easily throw passes the length of the court, and his no-lookers are pretty. With all of that being said, there is one thing that could hurt his chances at winning an MVP: his defense. At his size, his defense is a problem. He does have a hard time fighting screens, and his overall defensive ratings are pretty weak. He's at the bottom in defensive plus minus and defensive points saved. Those are things that will need to change if Trey wants to solidify an MVP in the future, but you could still also make the case that he could still win it. James Harden is an example of a player with poor defense, but his offense was just so incredible that it essentially rendered his defense as meaningless in a way. There's no doubt in my mind that Trey Young will win an MVP in his career, but there is still some work to do to make his case even stronger. I think it's pretty clear that Jayson Tatum is already on the path to winning an MVP soon. He was a first-time All-Star this season, and he averaged nearly 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block while shooting 58% from the field. One of his biggest strengths in his young career has been his ability to get to the rim and his ability to shoot off the dribble. He's also a solid defender. His ability to go toe-to-toe with some of the top ball handlers in the league is impressive. Not to mention, he's also becoming one of the top clutch players. He's been able to show up in big moments, and it's one thing that he has that not everyone his age has. It also does help that Tatum is part of the Boston Celtics, a team that's been in the conversation for championship contention for all 3 years that he's been in the league. As Tatum develops his playmaking abilities, his case for MVP will only continue to grow, especially if the Celtics continue to be contenders. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting All-NBA first team in the next 2 years, and he becomes a part of the MVP conversation. Jayson Tatum is just one of those guys where you know that one day he will be at the top, because let's remember, he's only 22. Let's be clear, he's already in the MVP conversation, and he is definitely first team All-NBA this season, so you know for a fact that he will win an MVP award soon. In my view, he's in the top 3 with Giannis and LeBron for the award, and for him to be there in his second year at 21 years old is huge. I thought his rookie year was impressive, but he clearly turned it up a notch this year, averaging 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists with a PER of 27.7. I mean, what else is there to say? It's clear as day that this guy is special. His ability to score, whether it's off the dribble or taking it to the hole, it's one of his strong suits. And you can't talk about Luka and strengths without talking about his court vision. You could argue that a weakness is that he's not a sharpshooter that he could be, but he really doesn't need to be one. If he keeps developing his game the way he has and the way he will, and if the Mavericks continue to improve as a team, which I have faith they will, Luka will win an MVP in the next 3 to 5 years, guaranteed, and it'll be fun to watch him do it. So that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like. Also, please be sure to support my gaming channel. I plan on starting to post next week, so be on the lookout for that. I'm excited to post some gaming content finally. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel for more NBA content like this and turn on your notifications. Also, tomorrow is the day that the first 2 episodes of The Last Dance come out. I'm super excited for it, and you should be too. So be sure to watch it because you know I'll be. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for the continuous support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.